Remember a couple of weeks ago when millions of Americans were concerned about being evicted? CDC issued a moratorium until October 3rd, but the reality is that millions will still need help to stay in their homes after that date. And there are several ways for those concerned to get help. One of those ways is through the Harris County Community Services Department. Dr. Adrienne Holloway is the executive director of that department. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hey, before we get into specifics about the rental part, what does your department do? What is the specific responsibility of the Community Services Department?
I would say we have three specific roles. One is direct services, so the programs that we'll talk about today, it's really that. How do we provide assistance to people who are struggling or are in need? The other, it's really in the housing realm. How do we provide affordable housing and moderate level housing to the residents of the county? And that's from multifamily to single family homes. And the third, which is significant, is disaster recovery. So we're the entity for the county that provides the services for residents who have been impacted by any federally declared natural disaster.
So now, would the pandemic be considered one of those emergency circumstances?
It is, and to a certain extent, and that's why we'd actually received some funding specific for the pandemic, as well as other county departments. When we receive funds for weather-related natural disasters, such as Hurricane Harvey, those funds directly come to us, and we institute programs to provide assistance for residents who've been impacted.
So regardless of what the federal government provides, I know Texas has a program to help people who are having trouble paying their rent. And so the Texas Emergency Rental Assistance Program is what I want to talk about now. How does that work, and who's specifically responsible for that?
We administer that grant through our social services division at the department, and it's people who have demonstrated some level of impact by the pandemic, and that can run the gamut. Usually it's going to be an exhibition of loss of income. So if they've had some impact with COVID, they meet our income guidelines, which is 80% of area median income, which translates to about $68,000 for a family of four, and they have an active lease. And if they don't have an active lease, they can certify. And then we can provide up to 6 months of rent and rental assistance. So that'd be 1 month in arrears and up to 5 months future rent.
So people who have been watching and seeing these deadlines come and go, deadlines coming, this is something that they can still apply for now, correct?
Correct. We do have a short window right now for this particular program because it expires September of this year, or this September 30th.
Okay.
However, we still have significant dollars left to disperse. So we really want people to call if they find themselves eligible, living in unincorporated Harris County, have an impact of COVID, have an active lease that they have been unable to pay rent. Call us and we'll be able to provide assistance.
I had some information that indicated that 200 families through the program had been impacted or been able to receive a little more than $1 million going to those families who need it. I want to let people know, here's a number to call, 832-927-4955, 832-927-4955, and I'll make sure that information is on our website as well. But there are also other ways for people to get help as well. Let's talk about some of those other programs. I know that the Emergency Food and Shelter Program is something that FEMA funds. So what is that program? And
that's actually a regular program, so it's not a COVID-related program. It's a program we operate annually, and we provide utility assistance to that program. So if you're behind in your gas, electric, or water utility bills, you can call us for assistance there. It's limited because we can't continue to provide a large amount of money, but it's something that's available annually.
And it's something I'm sure that a lot of people are walking around who may need help. They may not have any idea that this information is available, that this help is available as well.
Yes.
You have block grant money that's available. Where does that come from, and what kind of numbers are available in that?
Well, for our block grant, it's going to be our emergency shelter grant, and that's really what we call our eviction diversion program. So again, this is a non-COVID related program. So everything that we do regularly, we are able to do in a much grander scale with the COVID dollars. So rental relief, mortgage relief, and utility relief are programs that we operate all the time. And we have more money to be able to provide more assistance for people who have been impacted by COVID.
So are there, how many, in terms of your ability to meet the needs, are you finding that you have more applications than you have money to help, or there's just not enough people maybe who know to even ask for the money in various forms, whether it's the FEMA or the block grant or the other program?
I think that's the the sad case and the reality is when we're running our annual programs, we tend to have more applicants than we have funds available to assist them. Right now, it's the reverse. We have more funds and not enough applicants to be able to disperse those dollars. And I think it's really that awareness, because people who find themselves in need right now may not have found themselves in need in the past. They don't necessarily know what the resources are. So this opportunity to be able to share that there's a variety of resources available for individuals who've been impacted by the pandemic is huge, because we have the dollars and people are not being connected as readily to them.
And you also have Commissioner's Court money as well, correct?
Yes, and it funds the same types of programs: utility relief, rent relief, and mortgage relief. We just use different funding sources, and the funding sources have their different criteria. Some are a little more restrictive and stringent, and some are a little more flexible. But the main criteria is living in unincorporated Harris County and being within a certain income bracket.
Okay, that's good to know. Unincorporated Harris County is the area we're talking about. I'm going to make sure that we put all of this information we talked about on my Newsmakers page. So we put the phone numbers and the websites on the website so that everybody can be able to get the information and go from there. So thank you very much for being here. We look forward to you continuing to help these people who need the help, because we're going to see these headlines saying deadlines are coming, but a lot of your programs don't have deadlines. You have that September 30th. Beyond that, you have other programs that people can ask for assistance, correct?
Exactly.
Good deal. Dr. Adrienne Holloway, thank you for all you do, and we look forward to you having much more success in getting people help they need.
Thank you for this opportunity.